In a dark forge, the sound of footsteps echoes. A boy reveals himself, standing silently while staring at a newly forged sword in his hand. Determination fills his eyes. Without hesitation, he opens his mouth wide and bites down hard on the blade. The sword shatters into pieces. To understand why he does this, we return to the past. Ever since he was young, his father often told him a story. 200 years ago, there was no family that could match their status. They possessed a knight known as the God of War. Their family was chosen by the sword, destined to produce swordmasters. That was why everyone treated them with respect and called them the invincible protectors. His father told him that one day he would inherit that position and become the head of the family. He must live with pride because he was a Karavan. Protecting the land was the duty of the Karavan bloodline. Yet the boy could never fully believe this heroic tale. They lived in a poor village, working as landlords, who farmed the land alongside their tenants. There were too many holes in the story. The portrait hanging on the wall looked nothing like his father or himself. The sword passed down through the family was only 100 years old. It was still impossibly sharp. He searched through countless history books, but not a single one mentioned the Karavan family. Still, he thought to himself, if this is what it means to be a Karavan, then I am content. As the sun set and the day's work ended, the young master announced that he was heading to the market. One of the villagers asked if he could bring back some apples. Smiling, the young master agreed. He also promised to buy a doll for Marino's daughter. After all, as the future lord, he believed it was his duty to keep everyone happy. As he waved goodbye and left, the villagers spoke warmly about how kind the young master was. Then, a sword flashed. One man's face was sliced clean in half. A woman reached out in horror, only for her face to be split apart an instant later. Blood splattered across the ground. A man holding a sword walked through the village, calmly, and declared, "This land must be erased." The villagers trembled in fear and asked who he was. In response, he cut them to pieces and repeated the same words, "This land must be erased." When the young master returned, the items he bought slipped from his hands. He stood frozen, unable to speak, staring at the lifeless bodies scattered everywhere. His mind spiraled into panic. Why was everyone dead? Suddenly, the butler covered his eyes from behind. "You don't have to see this, young master," he said quietly. Then he revealed the truth. A man had come, slaughtered the entire village for one reason alone. The Karavan must be erased. Under the full moon's glow, the Gothic building stands silent and imposing, its flag fluttering softly in the night breeze, setting the stage for whatever's about to unfold. The man in white suit and the man in dark suit step into a room drenched in chaos. Blood splattered, bodies sprawled, staring down the aftermath of a brutal, unexpected disaster. The blond boy stares down silently at the man, lying motionless on the floor, the weight of the moment heavy in the dim light. Suddenly, the blond boy's breath catches, his eyes wide as a gasp escapes. Something just shattered his calm. The man in the white suit stands still, eyes locked on the blood-soaked floor where the brown-haired and black-haired men lie motionless, silence thick with the weight of violence. The blond boy crumples, clutching his head as agonizing cries escape, 3 eerie purple orbs descending around him, amplifying his torment. Tears streak down the blond boy's face as he desperately screams, "Arhan!" like it's the last thread holding him together. The woman with long brown hair gasps, voice trembling as she reaches out, barely able to whisper, "And mother," caught between shock and a flood of emotions. Arhan catches her just in time, his somber eyes locking on hers as she collapses, breathless and desperate, the weight of whatever's happening pressing heavy between them. The woman's tears fall as she clings tightly to the blond boy, whispering how grateful she is that he's safe. Her relief raw, her grip fierce, like she's never letting go. Suddenly, a firm hand in that brown sleeve clamps down on the shoulder of the one in light clothes, jolting the moment with sharp urgency. The woman's grip tightens, eyes wide with a mix of fear and determination, as the blonde boy freezes, caught between shock and something heavier lurking beneath. The woman drops to her knees, pulling the somber blonde boy close as if holding onto the last thread, while the brown-haired observer lingers silently, eyes sharp with unspoken questions. The blonde man drops to his knees, eyes wide with pain, barely able to whisper the haunting question, "Why?" Suddenly, the brown-haired figure crashes into the wall, blood splattering everywhere as both bodies collapse, the desperate cry of "Why?" echoing through the chaos. Amid the chaos, the long silver-haired figure watches silently, that calm, almost sinister smile hinting at secrets no one else dares to uncover. The woman clings to the wounded man gripping his sword, desperation in her eyes, as the motionless figure lies just feet away, the weight of loss pressing down hard. As dusk settles, the long silver-haired figure calmly holds a glowing object, a faint smile hinting at secrets only they understand. The tense figure tightens their grip on the knife, every muscle primed, eyes sharp, ready to strike or defend at a moment's notice. The blonde boy's voice trembles, stammering out a desperate plea as the cold blade hovers inches from his face, fear and pain bleeding through every word. The blonde boy grips the sword tightly, eyes locked on the approaching silver-haired figure, while the woman behind him clutches her shawl, her voice cracking with a desperate "Why?" As tension thickens in the shadowed forest, the silver-haired figure turns slightly, that calm, almost knowing smile hinting at secrets buried deeper than the forest shadows. That subtle smile? Pure confidence, like they already hold the answer no one else even dare to ask. The aftermath hits hard. Homes shattered, streets littered with debris, a silent reminder that whatever just went down left this place broken and barely standing. The man with reddish-brown hair and the dark-haired man push forward alongside the white horse, urgency in their steps as the vehicle's flashing lights close in behind, driving the group deeper into uncertain territory. The man in the light shirt stands alone amid scattered papers and towering bookshelves, the heavy silence thick with tension as secrets seem to lurk in every shadow. The blond man steps forward, voice fierce and unwavering, declaring himself the great knight who hunts nightmares, ready to face whatever darkness dares to rise. But just as he charges, a brutal strike lands. Blood drips down his face, shock and pain flashing in his eyes as the fight turns deadly real. Amid the chaos, the woman with long brown hair breaks into a gentle smile, her voice soft but filled with a surprising warmth that cuts through the tension of the night. Suddenly, the woman's warmth shifts to steel as she grabs the blond boy by the collar, her eyes locking onto his with an intensity that demands answers, while he stands frozen, caught between fear and something deeper. The blond boy's shock is undeniable as the grip tightens, his wide eyes begging for mercy or truth he's not ready to face. Meanwhile, the woman with long brown hair turns away from the chaos, a calm, almost knowing smile playing on her lips as if she's holding secrets far bigger than anyone realizes. She steps deeper into the cold water, leaves swirling around her like whispers, as if nature itself is drawn to the mystery she's wrapped in. The blond boy gasps, clutching his neck like something just hit him hard, his usual calm shattered by a shock he can't hide. The man in the fur cloak tightens his grip on the massive sword, eyes heavy with unspoken burdens as the dim light casts long shadows on his silent resolve. The blond boy breaks down completely, tears pouring as he stares skyward, caught between heartbreak and a desperate hope that something, anything, will change. The person with medium-length dark hair finally speaks, their calm voice cutting through the chaos, ready to drop a truth that could flip everything upside down. The woman with long brown hair grabs the blond boy's shoulders, her eyes fierce as she demands the truth, while he struggles to hold back tears, caught between shock and something deeper he can't yet face. Under the night sky, the hand in white reaches out softly, brushing the silver-haired figure's cheek, a quiet moment charged with unspoken meaning and calm resolve. Suddenly, the person with brown hair grabs the blonde boy by the collar, catching him off guard as he gasps. Ah! Tension snapping tight in the quiet night. The blonde boy yanks the woman's arm, his voice sharp with urgency while she stares wide-eyed, caught between shock and confusion under the forest-shadowed canopy. Suddenly, the man in the dark suit clamps his grip on the blonde boy from behind, silencing his desperate struggles as tension spikes in the cold night air. The woman with long brown hair lets out a soft sigh, her calm fading into something heavier as the forest around her holds its breath. The blonde boy's voice cuts through the night, gripping the man in the white suit's arm with desperate urgency as he demands answers, forcing the gray-haired man to finally face him. The person in light clothing stretches out a trembling hand toward the woman with long brown hair, who stands frozen on the path, her eyes wide with shock and something deeper, fear or maybe hope, flickering behind them. But then, the woman with long brown hair takes a breath, her fear melting into a soft, calm smile as the quiet night wraps around her like a protective cloak. The door creaks open just a crack, spilling a sharp beam of light that cuts through the darkness, hinting at something or someone waiting just beyond. The person with dark hair strides toward the cluttered shelves, their steps echoing through the quiet room as scattered books hint at a frantic search or a secret just uncovered. Suddenly, the person with light hair crashes down hard, sending more books flying like chaos unleashed in the quiet room. Blonde man gasps for air, blood trickling down his face, every breath a battle as the dim room closes in with shadows and pain. The blonde man pulls the pink-haired woman close, shielding her like a fragile secret amid the endless shelves, their silence louder than any danger lurking outside. Without a word, the man in the white suit hoists the woman with long brown hair onto his back, her grip tight as if trusting him with everything she's got. The man in the white suit settles onto the carriage as the white horse shifts, lanterns flickering, the creak of wheels breaking the night's silence. His sharp gaze cuts through the darkness, scanning the horizon like he's waiting for something or someone to show up. Horse's steady steps echo softly, breaking the silence as it paces through the dim stable, ready to carry its rider wherever the night demands. Hands grip the reins tight, every twitch and pull commanding the horse through the dark, the rider's intent clear, but their destination still a mystery. The older man's voice cuts through the silence, heavy with unspoken truths as he looks down, weighing the weight of what he's about to reveal. Without warning, the hand in the brown sleeve clamps onto the light-clothed figure, pulling them into an unbreakable grip that leaves no room for escape. The man in the light shirt breaks free and sprints through the dark forest, desperation fueling every step as shadows close in behind him. Blonde man locks eyes on a distant flicker of light, his jaw tight, knowing this chase is far from over, but refusing to back down. Someone bolts through the dark woods, dodging flying debris from a sudden blast that just shook the ground beneath them. The crossbow clicks as it's loaded fast, every second counting while shadows close in and danger lurks just ahead. Brown boots hit the ground with purpose, each step closer to the towering castle and its waving flag signaling a challenge that can't be ignored. Suddenly, a sharp red glow catches the blonde boy off guard, his eyes wide as something unexpected looms above. The silver-haired guy's eye bolts wide open, shock crashing through him like a lightning strike. Whatever just happened, it hit way harder than he expected. The blonde boy's blood drips quietly as he stares down, every drop of weight dragging him deeper into whatever mess he's caught in. Now, the long-haired blonde is nailed to the flagpole, blood soaking the tattered banner as pain twists his face. Someone's making a brutal statement, and it's anything but subtle. The person in the dark cloak looms over the fallen figure, voice dripping with contempt. How foolish, while the flag hangs at half-mast, signaling a grim and nobody saw coming. The long silver-haired figure remains calm, a faint smile playing on his lips as the person on the ground lies motionless, while the silent observer in the background watches, tension thickening the dusky forest air. The silver-haired figure's calm cracks, eyes sharp and alert under the red glow, as if sensing a threat lurking just out of sight. The blond boy's scream cuts through the tension, raw and desperate, breaking the silence like a storm about to explode. The figure in dark pants looms over the motionless body with dark hair, the weight of the moment pressing heavy as the world seems to hold its breath. The woman with long brown hair slumps, blood staining her lips, clearly beaten down and barely hanging on as silence screams around her. The blond man's grip tightens on his sword, a raw scream ripping from his throat as desperation fuels his fight. The long silver-haired figure's calm facade cracks as his eye ignites red, radiating a quiet but deadly power that shifts the battle's tide. The person with the white sleeve snatches the gun with fierce urgency, while the dark-haired figure on the ground gasps, caught off guard and desperate. The long silver-haired figure stands tall, cape billowing as the man on the ground lies motionless, while the dark-haired person edges forward, eyes wary, tension thick in the fading light. The person in brown boots crouches, steadying the crossbow, aimed low, every muscle tense as they prepare for the next move in this silent standoff. The man in the white suit collapses to his knees, drained and desperate, as the long silver-haired figure approaches with an unreadable calm, like a storm quietly closing in. Blonde, caught in a ruthless grip, gasps and fights for air, every second a desperate battle against the crushing hold tightening around their neck. The knife-wielding figure looms closer, tense and unyielding, while Blonde curls up, shielding his face, caught between fear and defiance in the fading light. The silver-haired figure stands firm, sword in hand, eyes calm but sharp, while Blonde kneels, weighed down by something heavier than fear, the cave's red glow casting long shadows on their tense standoff. Blonde clutches his side, pain etched deep as silver-haired just walks away, unfazed, leaving the fading light to swallow the distance between them. The silver-haired figure's eerie red eyes gleam calmly, a quiet confidence as the brown-haired person kneels close, tension thick but unspoken between them. The person in light clothing lies motionless, while the dark-cloaked figure's hand stretches out, hesitation and urgency tangled in that silent reach. The blond boy drops to his knees, pain and helplessness written all over his face, caught between giving up and fighting back. Clutching the woman with long brown hair, the blond boy's desperation peaks as her blood stains his hands, their shared pain a silent scream in the chaos. He steadies her trembling form, eyes burning with fierce resolve, refusing to let her slip away despite the darkness closing in. The brown-haired figure watches silently as the person in light clothing is cradled by the one standing, tension thick in the night air, ready for whatever comes next. A sword pulses with raw magic, lodged deep in the stone, its glow cutting through the shadows like a silent challenge waiting to be claimed. The blond boy stands still, eyes fixed on the light pouring in, as if searching for answers hidden beyond the walls. Suddenly, his calm shatters. Shock and worry flood his face like a warning sign he can't ignore. The blond man locks eyes with the glowing figure, whose bowed form and crackling blue energy scream desperation. Something powerful is unfolding right before him. The man in the white suit steps into the eerie blue glow, his calm, serious gaze cutting through the chaos as the mysterious energy wraps around him like a silent challenge. Under the darkening sky, the old mansion stands silent as the plan for revenge quietly takes shape. Blood stains the grand hallway, a brutal reminder that the continent's strongest sword has just clashed, shattering peace and shaking the kingdom's very foundation. Ancient papers reveal a legend. A righteous sentinel who hunts down evil, and a superhuman swordmaster whose talent outshines them all, hinting at a power that could rewrite the fate of the kingdom. Enter Carlos, the white-haired wielder of the 10 swords, whose cold resolve hides a past marked by rivalry and loss. He's the man whose name alone sparks fear, The one who took everything from someone who never forgot. Questions pile up like these scattered letters. Why did Carlos destroy that family? Who's really pulling the strings? And what dark secrets does Caravan hide beneath its surface? However, one thing is clear. Beneath the quiet calm and sunlit floors, a storm brews, and every shadow hides a truth waiting to explode. As the sun sets over the silent graves, the weight of Caravan's fallen lingers, reminding us their sacrifices were real, their lives lost without meaning, fueling the fire for justice yet to come. White-haired man steps toward the glowing door, eyes wide. Something beyond this threshold isn't just light, it's a game changer, and he knows it. Blonde-haired man stares up, mind racing. He's caught in a spiral, wondering if these unanswered questions are pushing him closer to madness. His breath catches as a cold wave of doubt crashes over him, sweat trickling down. Something's off, and he knows it, but the truth still slips just beyond reach. Suddenly, the sword ignites with a fierce blue glow, energy pulsing around it like it's about to unleash something serious. The white-haired man grips the glowing object tighter, its blue light casting sharp shadows as the blonde-haired young man stares, stunned. Something unbelievable has appeared before me, he mutters, caught between awe and dread. The blue energy figure demands Arhan Karavan shows some respect, radiating power that's impossible to ignore, setting the stage for a showdown charged with raw, magical intensity. The white-haired man floats, glowing with intense blue energy, as the blonde-haired young man stares up, shaken. This is no myth, but his legendary ancestor come to life, rewriting everything he thought he knew. Raindrops tap against the window as the blonde-haired guy's mind races. He's caught a flicker of a memory, something he's heard whispered before, hinting this encounter might be bigger than he ever imagined. That clenched fist tells the whole story. Severe mental shock isn't just pain, it rewires you, and this unknown person is gripping onto that harsh truth tighter than ever. The blonde-haired guy's sweating, eyes locked on that door, stuck in a loop of hallucinations that blur reality and trap him in his own mind. The older white-haired man steps forward, dark fur collar brushing the air as blue energy crackles around him, calling out to the wavering presence with a voice sharp enough to cut through the chaos. He leans in, eyes piercing, and drops the question that hits harder than any blow. Are you afraid you've truly gone mad? He freezes, mind racing as the words sink in. An ancestor thought to be a myth just showed up, shattering everything he believed. The older white-haired man leans in, voice steady and sharp. If this isn't some twisted illusion, then the blonde-haired young man might actually be the legendary founder of their entire family, flipping his world upside down. The older white-haired man's tone drops, laying it out cold. Liam Caravan, the strongest swordmaster in history, a name that echoes through every shadow and whispered legend in their world. The older white-haired man's piercing gaze locks onto the blonde-haired young man, demanding why someone from his father's legendary stories only shows up now, stirring questions that cut deeper than any sword. The blonde-haired young man bursts out, voice cracking with raw frustration. Why now? His desperation echoing the weight of unanswered questions finally breaking through. The white-haired man roars back, eyes blazing with fierce resolve. After all this time, his voice shaking the air like a storm ready to break. Calm and unshaken, the white-haired man locks eyes ahead, every inch the embodiment of cold confidence, like he's already 3 moves ahead in this deadly game. He reveals the test wasn't just for show. Revenge is a brutal trial demanding total sacrifice, and you better be ready to lose everything before even thinking about starting it. Despite your pathetic, hopeless talent, which you yourself must recognize, the only way forward is to toughen up, brace yourself. Pain and failure are the only teachers in this brutal game. He clutches his sword like it's the last lifeline, kneeling in the fading light, caught in that dangerous obsession to never let go, even when every fiber of him screams otherwise. The blonde-haired young man's grip tightens, sweat dripping as he declares willpower can't waver. Not even for a second, because giving up isn't an option. The older, white-haired man steps forward, voice calm but heavy, telling the blonde-haired young man that his late appearance has a simple reason, setting the stage for a game-changing revelation. He leans in, eyes sharp, admitting the blonde's burning hatred finally hit the exact depth he was waiting for. This isn't just a meeting, it's a reckoning. Patience snapped, he's done holding back, and that murderous intent is itching to rip his target apart. The older white-haired man's fists clench tight as rage and sorrow boil over. His voice cuts through the darkness, demanding justice for the merciless massacre of his bloodline and homeland. The older white-haired man's voice echoes through the cathedral, laying down a harsh truth about the continent's unbreakable legacy, while the blonde-haired young man absorbs every word, caught between doubt and a dawning resolve. The older white-haired man calls out the stubbornness fueling that relentless thirst for revenge, his steady gaze cutting through the silence as he exposes the raw truth behind every swing of the sword. The blonde-haired young man's eyes widen as a sharp warning slices through the room. No matter how hard he trains alone, surpassing that mysterious figure might be an impossible climb. A swordmaster isn't just skilled. They're an otherworldly force, a level so far beyond even the brightest prodigies that it feels like chasing a star you'll never catch. Standing barefoot against the fading light, the white-haired man recalls a time when only a rare few matched that legendary skill, even amidst endless battles and chaos. Rain soaks the stone walls as whispers confirm no one in this generation can kill him. But with time, even legends face their reckoning. The blonde-haired young man clenches his fists, voice sharp. He's not here to follow legends. He's here to surpass them and rewrite what it means to be powerful. He stares ahead, jaw tight, admitting the brutal truth. He knows full well how vast the gap between them is, and that realization hits harder than any fight. Blue-eyed person's eye pulses with raw frustration as they wrestle with the crushing reality. Watching the one who stole everything from them rise as a hero feels not just impossible, but utterly soul-crushing. The blonde-haired young man clamps his own throat, eyes blazing with fury and disbelief. How is he still trapped in this cycle of helplessness, powerless against fate's relentless grip? The older white-haired man pulls the white-haired wielder of the 10 swords into a firm hug, promising to forge him into a sharper, stronger blade, one that can surpass even his greatest rival beneath the watchful gaze of the Wolf Banner. The white-haired man locks eyes with the blue-eyed person, laying down the heavy truth. As a caravan member, it's their duty to judge the murderer. No room for hesitation, only cold, hard justice. A massive sword gleams under the dim light, a stark reminder that for a caravan, there's only one path forward. No detours, no second chances. The older white-haired man crosses his arms, eyes sharp as he throws down the gauntlet. Eat my sword, descendant of the steel-blooded, making it clear this clash is personal and inevitable. Caught off guard, the blonde-haired young man glances up, eyes wide and heart pounding, sensing the storm about to break, but unsure if he's ready for what's next. The tension thickens as silent spears line the wall, their cold presence promising a fight lurking just beyond the calm. The flames roar fiercely against the brick, casting flickering shadows that make the air crackle with impending chaos. Amid the crackling fire and silent weapons, the weight of the caravan bloodline's mixed human and dwarven heritage hangs heavy, hinting at power forged from 2 worlds. The blonde-haired young man tightens his grip on the glowing sword, flames swirling around him as he braces for a battle that could ignite his true potential. The older white-haired man leans in, voice steady and low, dropping a bombshell about his half-dwarf origins, history that might just rewrite everything the blonde-haired young man thought he knew. He calmly breaks down the hidden truth. Dwarves may look ordinary, but their blood carries a rare power, one that flows through generations. And now, the blonde-haired young man has to face what that means for his own fate. This glowing blue energy isn't just for show. It's the ability to consume swords, stealing the memories and skills of whoever once wielded them, turning every blade into a weapon and a story now locked inside the blonde guy's power. The older white-haired man lays it out. This legacy of swordmasters didn't happen by accident. The Karavan family's power runs deep, forged through generations and sealed within these blades, the true source of their unmatched strength and reputation. The blonde-haired young man's mind races. Eating swords to inherit power sounds wild, and though dwarves are known for their bond with iron and fire, this weird ability, totally unheard of, pushing him to question everything he thought he knew about strength and legacy. His fingers tighten around the sword hilt, heart pounding as doubts flood in. This whole legend feels absurd, like every tale just twists the truth deeper, leaving him more tangled in confusion than clarity. Clenching his jaw, the blonde-haired young man locks eyes with the unknown figure, laying a firm hand on their shoulder as he declares there's no time for doubt. Only results can prove the truth, and hesitation isn't an option. The intense glare sharpens as he demands the secret. How exactly do you consume the sword? No fluff, just the facts. With a fierce grip, he heats the blade until it's soft enough. No shortcuts, just raw steel and raw will. Blonde-haired guy tightens his grip on the blazing sword, bracing himself for whatever comes next. No backing down, even if it means swallowing fire itself. Unknown person clutching the shield wrestles with crushing doubt, caught between nightmare and madness, haunted by the possibility that everything they believe might just be a cruel illusion. But even if it is, they're not ready to surrender yet. Intense eyes blaze with fierce resolve, refusing to let go. Because if there's even a sliver of a chance, hope is worth fighting for, no matter the cost. Close-up shouting person clenches the glowing sword tight, voice roaring, "I'll do it." No hesitation, just pure unbreakable while charging headfirst into whatever comes next. Blonde-haired young man grits his teeth, biting down hard as the glowing object cracks apart, his fierce determination pushing him beyond the breaking point. Close up on that intense mouth, flames roaring out with every breath, turning up the heat as the battle hits its boiling point. The unknown hand fights against the searing flames, fingers trembling and stretched out, desperate to escape the burning pain consuming it. Flaming person screams, the fire swallowing every inch of them as agony and fury explode from within, turning pain into a blazing roar. Flaming person's scream pierces through the chaos, flames twisting wildly as they battle the searing torment consuming their very soul. The blonde-haired young man gasps, caught off guard as a ruthless grip clamps down on his neck, pain flashing across his face while he fights to break free. The blonde-haired young man crashes hard against the cold stone wall, his body recoiling from the brutal impact as a sharp cry of pain escapes him. The unknown person grits their teeth, the strike hitting deep as a guttural "GUH" slips out, pain flashing across their face but refusing to break their stance. Their fist tightens, glowing red energy pulsing fiercely as they channel every ounce of strength into the strike, refusing to back down. A fierce roar rips through the air, teeth bared and voice raw with unyielding fury, a primal warning that this fight isn't over yet. The blonde-haired young man lunges ahead, sword in hand, screaming that he'll become one no matter the cost, even if it means sacrificing his life. Gripping his glowing sword tight, the blonde-haired young man's voice cracks with fierce resolve as he screams, "I will become one, no matter what it takes." Sunlight streams through the sprawling trees' leaves, casting dappled shadows on the quiet house, while birds rest silently on the branches, setting a calm, almost tense atmosphere. The blonde-haired young man doubles over, clutching his chest as a sharp, agonized shout rips through the stormy air, his pain raw and undeniable. Gasping desperately, the blonde-haired young man fights through the pain, voice shaking but fierce as he declares, "I'm alive." Clutching his head, the blonde-haired young man kneels amid dusty shelves, wrestling with the insane truth. He's not just alive, he's unscathed, yet every painful memory of that brutal chew and swallow hits him like a fresh wound. Blue-eyed, sweating and tense, struggles to shake off the nightmare. Almost convinced yesterday was a hallucination. Thankfully, the harsh reality still lingers, reminding him it wasn't all in his head. Blonde-haired, gripping his chest in pain, yells out that there's no way only the sword's hilt would be left behind. Something's seriously off with this whole situation. The blonde-haired guy, eyes wide and stunned, hears a chilling compliment on his mental fortitude, like whatever's happening is testing him beyond limits. The blonde-haired guy crumples to his knees, pain etched across his face, as the blue, ghostly figure looms nearby, taunting him. This isn't about his weak body, but something far deeper and darker. The gray-haired man floats amid swirling blue energy, his serious gaze cutting through the dark as he warns that even the strongest ancestors couldn't endure this searing pain. Many cracked, and some surrendered before the true test even began. The gray-haired man's voice cuts through the silence, challenging if you finally believe him, confirming every legend your father ever shared about the caravans was real and more dangerous than you imagine. The blonde-haired young man gasps out that he's no hallucination, his voice trembling with a mix of pain and urgency as he fights to prove he's real and right here. Arhan Karavan's gloved hand slams down, cutting through the tension as he declares himself, ready to shake things up. The blonde-haired guy drops to his knees, gasping in shock as the gray-haired elder in the blue robe descends with undeniable authority. Time to greet the progenitor. The gray-haired elder's voice cuts through the tension, commanding the young descendant to acknowledge him as master, his serious gaze sealing the unbreakable hierarchy between them. The gray-haired elder floats above, declaring that all his disciples have accepted this truth, while the blond young man kneels, pained but resolute, finally answering, "I understand, Master." Wait, does this mean that, just like my father warned, everything I believed might be a lie? The older man drops the bomb. The secret to unlocking true power isn't training or luck. It's literally devouring swords. And now the young man's about to inherit that dangerous legacy. The blonde guy, clearly frustrated, admits he doesn't feel any different despite the older man's heavy revelation, hinting that this power comes with a catch no one warned him about. The older gray-haired man clears his throat, dropping the bomb that the real problem isn't his. It's on the blonde guy's end, shifting the blame in a way no one saw coming. The blonde guy, stunned and struggling to catch up, fires back. "Wait, what? You wanted me to eat your sword and become a swordmaster?" As the wild plan sinks in, leaving him more confused and pained than ever. The gray-haired man drops the truth bomb, his bloodlines fading, and swallowing swords to gain power won't last much longer. If the blonde wants to survive, he needs to master this before everything slips away. The gray-haired man warns that with the way the blonde is now, fully digesting the sword's essence is impossible. This swirling blue energy is proof the process is incomplete and dangerously limited. Blonde's eyes widen as the glowing blue object pulses in his hands, the unstable energy crackling like a warning. Whatever he's holding isn't just powerful, it's unpredictable and way beyond his control right now. The older, gray-haired man looms with cold authority, hands clasped behind his back, while the blonde-haired young man drops to his knees, pain and desperation etched across his face as if begging for mercy or answers he's not sure he'll get. The white-haired figure turns away slowly, voice low but steady. "I see," like they've just pieced together a truth nobody wanted revealed. The gray-haired man narrows his eyes, voice calm but cutting. "If that's all you have to say, Master, then so be it," challenging the silence hanging heavy between them. The Fang man admits he always knew his body's weak, but even so, he's visibly disappointed with how things turned out. One quietly thanks the other for leaving a path open, hinting at hope or escape, while the others left confused, pressing for what that even means in this tense, dim room. They admit they can't handle that power right now, but there's a spark of hope they'll grow strong enough to face it someday. The blonde-haired guy decides to keep it real and start with a sword he can actually handle, focusing on steady progress instead of rushing into something way too strong. The older, gray-haired man, deep in thought, smirks as he pieces it together, realizing he only needs to find one after all. He drops a sharp truth. This isn't just luck. You already have the intuition of a swordmaster. No training needed. The gray-haired man drops some serious knowledge. Real power comes from a sword that's been battle-tested, worn down by countless fights, not some pristine showpiece. And the blonde guy's pain is proof this lesson cuts deep. Determined, the blonde guy asks to be led to a spot piled high with old, beat-up weapons, the kind that hold real stories, not shiny facade. The older, gray-haired man steps forward, eyes sharp, promising to handpick a weapon from the wreckage that fits the blonde's fight, because not every tool is made equal in a war-torn world. The older, gray-haired man scans the eerie ruins, calling it perfect for necromancers, while the blonde-haired young man nods, the heavy gloom matching the dark magic they're about to face. Unknown character legs stand firm in the smoky slums, declaring this place a graveyard of forgotten junk, where all the old things from the slums are dumped and left to rot. The older gray-haired man and the white-haired person stand amid the rubble at sunset, agreeing this ruined wasteland is the perfect place to find a sword that fits the master's exacting standards, a promising start to their quest. The older, gray-haired man floats calmly, sharing how he once devoured swords in blood-soaked battlefields, while the young man listens intently, absorbing the raw truth behind the path they're about to walk. Weapons of war, swords clenched in lifeless grips, axes smeared with mud and blood, shields shattered, stand as silent witnesses to the brutal chaos that once tore through this battlefield. The blonde-haired young man confesses how he gave it his all, devouring everything in sight, a desperate attempt to fuel the fight within as dusk fades around him. He gasps through the pain, declaring every scar and struggle was to grow stronger and survive, eyes scanning the ruined battlefield while the hooded figure watches silently nearby. The older, gray-haired man's gaze hardens as he mutters, "Somehow, this place reminds me of those times," hinting at buried memories tied to this desolate ground. Amidst shattered crosses and smoldering ruins, he recalls how endless battles tore them apart, each clash fracturing their resolve as they fought desperately to protect the fragile flickers of life. Some fell that very day, swallowed by chaos, while others dragged their broken bodies into the next sunrise, because surviving wasn't just luck, it was waging war every damn moment. Countless lives vanish into the fog of war, lost without a trace, but a rare few carve out legacies that blaze brighter than the darkest night. Amid the devastation, a lone spark ignites, defying the shadows and promising hope where all seemed lost. The gray-haired man's eyes narrow, voice steady as he declares, "I've found it," signaling a breakthrough that could change everything. The hooded figure points ahead, eyes hidden but voice sharp as they command the blonde-haired young man, "Take that one, my young descendant," thrusting him into a tense moment that promises a critical choice. The sword is revealed as a crucial weapon, dubbed the second sword you must devour to unlock its true power. 1 month later, under the full moon's glow, they scope out the deserted building and the ghost town around it, completely empty, just like the rumors said. Walking Person 1 and Walking Person 2 creep through the mansion's shadowy halls, trading theories about a warlock who might have twisted this place into a lab for dark experiments on living creatures. Walking Person 1, Man in Cloak, and Man with Sword watch as falling man crashes down, dismissing theories of deadly traps. If this place were truly lethal, they'd be dead by now. Walking Person 1, Man in Cloak, and Man with Sword quietly debate the chances of a fallen noble lurking nearby, eyes sharp as tension thickens in the shadowed corridor. The man with the sword sniffs the air, scoffing at the heavy, spoiled scent that screams rich and reckless, like money can't hide the rot beneath. The man with spiked hair crosses his arms, grinning as the bald guy laughs, both hyped. Finally, A job so easy it's basically handed to them, especially with no caretaker in sight to mess things up. Suddenly, the man with spiked hair freezes, hand to his face, eyes wide. Something's off, while the bald guy stays chill, laughing it off, and the white-haired walker just watches calm and unreadable, like he knows more than he's letting on. The bald guy points casually at the shadowy figure in the back, smirking as he drops the bomb. Looks like the noble's daughter really does live here, while the light brown-haired man stays silent, eyes locked on the mystery guest. Hands grip a pristine piece of ladies' clothing, and the voice cracks with surprise. A whole pile of fine ladies' clothes, freshly laundered, turning disbelief into a low what? For real? That echoes the growing tension. Coo. He sniffs the fabric, eyes narrowing as he admits the scent isn't just fresh. It's something totally off, stirring more questions than answers. Cookek. Man holding clothing smirks, tightening his belt like he's already 3 moves ahead, dropping a cryptic hint that if they play their cards right, things are about to get seriously interesting. Bald, muscular man laughs, teasing with a metal bar in hand, promising they might just unlock a whole new level of chaos and fun. The crew's hunting down a portrait of some noble lady, arguing over who gets to catch a whiff of her scent while scanning every corner like it's the ultimate prize. Just as tensions spike, the walking person with the spear cuts through the chaos, commanding everyone to stop, leaving the masked man and black-haired guy caught off guard, while the bald, muscular man just laughs like he's seen it all before. Without a word, the dark-clad figure turns and strides into the shadows, leaving the room buzzing with unanswered questions and a heavy silence trailing behind. They reveal how their mother obsessed over order, despising any mess around her, painting a picture of a household ruled by strict tidiness. The young man with light gray hair cuts through the tension, demanding silence and telling the other to quietly put that down before they finally start the conversation. The bald, muscular man laughs confidently, breaking the ice while the walking spear holder, the black-haired man, and the light brown-haired guy watch intently, waiting to see what's next in this tense, heavy room. The bald, muscular man and the black-haired axe wielder exchange curious glances, questioning the identity of the white-haired figure walking away. Is that the owner's son? One wonders, while the other smirks, dismissing the idea it could be a woman. The person in dark clothing locks eyes, cutting through the tension with a sharp question. Did you come here for food or just a place to crash? Pick one, don't waste my time. The blonde-haired person steps up, voice steady but firm, laying down the deal. They're open to letting you stay only if you're here for food or shelter. No freeloaders allowed. The bald, muscular man snaps back, voice booming with raw anger, demanding to know if the brats seriously lost their mind. The angry glare burns through as he spits out, "You damn nobles must not have any common sense," clearly done tolerating the cluelessness around him. The bald guy's smirk cuts deep as he swings that weapon with ease, snapping, "You should have stayed hidden. Why crawl out and stir trouble now?" While the suited man steps forward, unshaken, like this showdown's just getting started. The bald guy's voice booms, eyes blazing as he throws out, "Are you that eager to die?" while raising his arm like he's daring the light brown-haired man to make the next move. Light purple eyes lock on a fiery orange, both burning with unspoken challenge. No words, just pure, electric tension daring the next strike. Without hesitation, the light gray-haired fighter delivers a brutal kick, blood splattering as the brown-haired man crumples, the fight turning fierce and unforgiving. The bald, muscular man leans back, a confident laugh escaping as he calls out the intruders, making it clear they're in his territory and he's ready to deal with them. The young man with light gray hair stares down his opponent, blood splattered across his face as he cuts through the tension with a cold, sharp declaration, "Not guests." The fire blazes fiercely, wood crackling and sparks flying as the logs burn bright, casting dancing shadows into the night. The blonde-haired person and silver-haired ally stand firm before the roaring fire, their voices sharp as they call out to their master, tension crackling hotter than the flames behind them. The blonde-haired person stares at the sword, disbelief clear as they ask if this cold steel is truly the sword they're supposed to eat, while the older man watches calmly, a knowing smile playing on his lips. The hand grips a blade so thin it's basically a needle, mocking the idea that this slender weapon could slice through anything real. The blonde-haired guy doubts the thin rod's strength, calling it fragile and easy to snap, but the older man just smiles calmly, saying that's exactly how it's meant to be. Turns out, the blonde-haired guy's weapon isn't about brute force. It's designed to catch and control, not slash or crush, leaving the person with light purple eyes quietly processing this game-changing strategy. The older man calmly breaks it down. This weapon was forged for one clear purpose: precision and control over chaos, not just raw power. The man shouting drives it home. This weapon isn't just a tool, it's a game-changer designed to strike fast and kill clean when the stakes are life or death. The hooded attacker lunges through the shadows, aiming to catch the person seen from behind off guard, but their stance is steady, ready to block or dodge whatever's coming next. The sword gleams cold, dripping with fresh blood, a deadly reminder that it's made to pierce through flesh, not just slash. The fire blazes fiercely, wood crackling and sparks flying as the logs burn bright, casting dancing shadows into the night. The older man calmly teases the blonde-haired person's serious doubt, suggesting a spear might suit them better, while the blonde-haired one wrestles with the weight of unfamiliar advice and unspoken expectations. The hand gripping the sword insists that the memories embedded in the blade aren't just history. They're the key to strengthening a soul too fragile to face the truth alone. Person close up, I drops a bomb. Before her death, the weapon's last owner single-handedly changed the course of a brutal war, proving its power is more than legend, its legacy. The older man reveals the weapon's brutal history, piercing through over 2,000 foes, while the blonde-haired person absorbs the weight of its deadly legacy. The dark-haired figure grips the sword behind their back, coldly taunting about a body even slimmer than theirs, specifically a woman's, adding a sharp edge to the tense showdown. The older man lays down some serious wisdom, telling the blonde-haired person that a sword demands respect, not just as a weapon, but as something almost sacred, setting the tone for what's really at stake here. Flames roar inside the forge, as the voice commands to consume what's forged here with gratitude, reminding us this isn't just about power. It's about respect and honor fueling every burn. Boots crush cracked stone, embers flicker beneath each step, as the voice warns. The weight of its sins may be light, but every move carries a heavy truth. The sword stands tall against the roaring fire, a silent testament as the voice reflects. Life's burden isn't in the weight you carry, but in the solemn weight that dwells within. Blonde-haired figure stares deep into the blazing furnace, the heat mirroring the intensity of the unspoken promise. There is much for you to gain if you dare to face the fire within. The night devours the mansion whole, flames swallowing memories as the child's last image sears into their mind, a blaze that marks the end of innocence and the start of something darker. Mary's eyes flutter open, fragile and bandaged, as a quiet voice breaks through the darkness. She's back, but everything's changed. Flames roar around the person on the ground, swallowing everything as the haunting truth sinks in. Her parents, lost forever in the inferno, nothing left but ashes and memories. The red-haired girl, barely holding herself together, whispers into the blaze, haunted by the cruel truth that she alone escaped the firestorm that consumed everything she knew. Lying weak and worn on the bed, the red-haired girl mutters a chilling wish to have died alongside those lost, as three hooded figures, silent and watchful, loom nearby, their intentions as unreadable as the shadows filling the room. After losing everything in an instant, the child was taken in by an old orphanage where the serene statue of the goddess of fire watched over them, a symbol of hope and protection burning quietly beneath the blue sky. The child learned fire wasn't just warmth. It was salvation, held tight in the stone hand's flame, yet even that hope couldn't stop her from falling to rock bottom once more. The red-haired girl stares into the mirror, haunted by a past scorched by fire, trapped in a world that worships the flames while she's still burning from the inside out. She clenches her fists, the harsh truth sinking in. No matter how far she runs, the flames are still chasing her, refusing to let go. The congregation sits in quiet stillness beneath the stained glass, the person at the altar delivering words that hang heavy. Those days after were eerily calm, like the world holding its breath before the storm. Blue-haired person leans in, voice low and tense, asking about the strange mark on red-haired girl's face, as whispers spread that a goddess's curse is the only explanation. Dark-haired woman snaps. So that face is the curse's mark? While blonde-haired person clenches their hands, grimacing, ugh, the more I see it, the worse it gets, as red-haired girl sits there, drained and barely holding herself together. The red-haired girl sits isolated, haunted by cruel whispers labeling her a monster, disgusting and horrible, as those toxic thoughts close in like a suffocating storm. With a fierce, haunted glare, the red-haired girl breaks the silence. Raw and unfiltered, she wants to die. But then, everything changed. Something hit her hard, shaking her to the core, sparking a flicker of hope she didn't expect. Looking back, his swordsmanship was rough and crude, but under the full moon's glow, that raw determination reflected off his blade like a silent promise of what was to come. It had a beauty so intense, it wiped away the chaos in his mind, if only for a fleeting second, offering a rare escape from the storm inside. Hekal, the seasoned swordsman with a past as tangled as his worries, bites his thumb, haunted by memories only years at the orphanage could barely soothe. The red-haired girl, exhausted but defiant, admits she never imagined daring to speak a word to an old man with such a harsh, intimidating face. Yet here she is, breaking her own limits. The person in boots steps forward, tension thick as the man with the sword tightens his grip, eyes locked and ready for whatever's coming next. Under the moonlit trees, the red-haired girl's voice cuts through the silence, asking the older man with quiet respect how she can become like him. She grips her vest tight, eyes burning with resolve, declaring she's ready to learn, ready to change everything. The person stepping delivers a cold truth, telling Mary this won't help her much, especially not a girl like her, setting the stage for a harsh lesson ahead. The red-haired girl, bandaged but unshaken, warns that a blade like this won't save Mary. It'll just end up cutting her deeper. She pleads urgently into the device, begging them to turn back now, convinced that if she can just learn that secret, everything could change. Hand holding nose suddenly clamps down on red-haired girl's face, cutting off her desperate plea and turning the tension up a notch. The red-haired girl, voice steady despite exhaustion, declares no fire in this world will ever scare her again, hinting at a past that forged her fearless resolve. Under the eerie night sky, the pink-haired girl stands her ground as the man with the sword tightens his grip, ready to strike or defend, tension crackling between them like a storm about to break. The wooden barrel crashes to the floor, shattering into pieces and filling the room with a sudden, echoing bang. The man offering swords lays them out with a serious gaze, challenging, "Choose one here. If you could do so much as swing it, I will teach you." The young woman with red hair and glasses studies the barrel packed with swords, weighing the challenge ahead with quiet determination. The young woman with red hair and glasses asks if swinging the sword is necessary, and the man offering swords fires back, challenging her to think. If not swinging, then what? The hand reaches out, fingers stretching forward like it's daring the challenge to begin without a single swing. The young woman with red hair and glasses tightens her grip on the sword, steeling herself with a fierce resolve. As long as I can fight back. The young woman with red hair and glasses holds her sword steady, pointing it at the man on the ground who stares up, caught between fear and defiance. The man offering swords locks eyes with the red-haired woman, his voice steady and fierce as he declares, "I'll become whatever I need to be," showing he's ready to face whatever comes next. The young woman with red hair and glasses steps up, pointing firmly as she cuts in with, "That was my her confidence impossible to ignore. The unknown person with those fierce blue eyes lunges violently, blood splattering as they sneer. So you were intruders, not guests, delivering a brutal first thrust that leaves no room for mercy. The muscular bald man grits his teeth, a sharp "urrgh" escaping as he staggers back, clearly reeling from a heavy blow that's testing his limits. The muscular bald man crashes backward onto the floor, pushed hard by the intense blonde unknown person standing behind him, while an axe lies abandoned nearby. The fallen bald man catches his breath on the floor while the unknown person stands firm, eyes locked on the trio across the room. Man offering swords, young woman with red hair and glasses, and another figure, each silently sizing up the tense standoff. The man with black hair, the man with blonde or light-colored hair and mustache, and a man with short hair and glasses all freeze, eyes wide and breaths caught. Whatever just happened has them straight up shook. The man with black hair stares ahead, stunned, while the man with blonde or light-colored hair and mustache breaks into a cold sweat, barely able to believe what they're seeing as they both question if this is some kind of sick joke. The unknown person towers over the fallen, sword hidden behind their back, coldly declaring there's no need for words as the defeated lie scattered across the floor. The masked floating figure drifts silently in the dark room, bathed in a single beam of light beneath the looming ornate clock, their presence as eerie as the ticking time they watch over. The older man with gray hair and beard solemnly reveals that for the past month, his sole lesson to his young descendant has been one crucial thing, hinting at the weight behind his teachings. The young blond man pushes himself to run relentlessly through the forest, while the older man with gray hair and beard watches silently, testing his endurance with a grueling lesson on running for hours without exhaustion. The older man with gray hair and beard admits with a heavy sigh that he never taught the young blond man swordsmanship, leaving a silent weight hanging between them in the quiet forest. The older man with gray hair and beard narrows his eyes, realizing that the powerful thrust isn't just luck. It means the young man is truly starting to grasp and internalize the technique. The young man with blonde hair steadies his grip, raising the sword upright as he takes his first step as a caravan, ready to face whatever comes next.